So the first time I visited the US, I got detained at the airport. Now, this was quite a while ago. Like the first time I entered, it was back in 2016. And I wanted to visit my family, but I also had another purpose. I also wanted to attend an open house for the university that I had just applied in. So, there it's me just in line waiting for the immigration officer, and the immigration officer was a lady, and she asked me, okay, so what is the purpose of your visit to the United States? And I was so scared that I started blabbering and explaining about, I have this open house that I would like to attend, and, but I also have a family here and I would like to visit them as well. Nothing that they asked. So what she did was she gave my passport to another officer, and the officer escorted me to another room. Now, this was a room that, although it didn't look like a jail, but it felt like a jail, like a detention center. There was this police officer who was right there at the front, sitting on a table, and there were chairs spread out throughout the room. A few people were sitting there. You were not allowed to use your phone. You were not allowed to use any electronic instrument. You were not allowed to get up. You were not allowed to speak. You were not allowed to basically do anything. And I think that was very, very, very scary, because at that time I didn't know what would happen. Like, maybe they are sending me back. Maybe something is wrong with my visa. I don't know. Maybe they're going to put me in another detention center. I don't know. I had no freaking idea. But luckily for me, after 5 minutes, the officer called my name, stamped the passport, gave it to me back, and I just went on my way. The thing about the US Custom and Border Patrol, the thing about crossing the US boundary or the US border, is that you don't know where you're gonna end up. Like, the way the US treats people is either okay or not okay. So if you're okay, then everything is fine. I mean, you go to your normal. But if you're not okay, then it doesn't matter how not okay you are. Like, you would drop down to the level of serious criminals. So even if there is a suspicion of some wrongdoing or something, then yeah, the US would treat you like they would treat a criminal. Like, there is no degradation, there is no scale of that. And I think that is what makes it so scary, even though in reality, crossing the US border is, well, statistically not scary. I mean, right now we're hearing a lot of scary stories about people who were trying to get into the US, who had green cards and who had visas, and their visas are getting revoked. Despite having green cards, they're still being put into detention centers, and their family don't know about them. Not to mention that your phones are being checked, and they're put into machines where they can take your data, and if you refuse it, then you are not allowed to enter. And that is all valid and pretty scary. But the also thing to understand that these things have always been ongoing. They have always happened. Like, even back then when I first was going to the US, I knew that the officer has the right to take out my phone or take out any device, and they can ask to look through it. So I had to prepare in advance for that. But the thing is that there's so many people traveling to the US, visiting the US, probably millions. The rate of these accelerated checkings is still, to my knowledge, less than 5%. I mean, according to official records. So it's still pretty low. But the thing that I mentioned about, if the worst happens, even if there is like a 3% chance of it, like if the worst happens, oh my God, then you're in for the ride of your life. And that is what makes it so exactly scary. And visiting the US filled with so much anxiety right now. That was me. Okay, stay safe, safe travels, and I'll see you in the next one.